These two new singles from Brent Faiyaz's upcoming album Icon really have some great production techniques, and today we're going to uncover the secrets behind them. Most producers don't realize how simple these beats actually are, but luckily I've dug into the techniques that Brent's producers use, and trust me, they're easier than you think. When I think of Brent, the first thing that comes to mind are those smooth, mesmerizing beats, and we know there's one way to do that, by making minor scale chord progressions. Now, here's the twist. It's not all about stacking those 6 jazz chords and overcomplicating things. In fact, most of his production only relies on 2 or 3 chords, whether it's the 1-4 chord progression or his favorite, the 1-5 chord progression, which he actually used on Tony Soprano.
You always tend to call with my plane taking off, so if this shit go down, her last sound is...
Big technique that he used throughout his production that is very simple is the use of pitching, and you're probably wondering how, and that starts with the piano. You hear that hypnotic piano creating that bounce and that enticing feel, and that's because one chord is looped over 8 bars rather than using chords in a more conventional way. You may think this might sound too repetitive, but no, that's why this production is clever. The chords have a melodic side to it, with notes changing to stop it sounding stale. Then, to create a sense of a chord progression, the piano is exported and pitched down by 5 semitones, creating that 1-5 chord progression, but as you see, over a 16-bar loop. This is great because it keeps the sample fresh and gives it a new tone. The art of knowing when to keep things simple is really a superpower that you want to use as a producer. Like with the bass production, again using that 16-bar loop, but layer a sub bass and a bass guitar together to give it a deeper, warmer vibe. And again, to give it some melody and keep it fresh, using these passing notes just on the bass guitar. Then, to create some fullness, added those swelling strings. You can see I only used 2 notes throughout these strings, but how do they work? Both of these notes fit in the 1 and the 5th. It creates some emotion and adds musical tension without any clutter. Again, sticking to the simple, I added half time for when it drops to the G. In the second section, I added a string melody. Again, something simple and repetitive, but changing the pitch to give a different tone. Then we hear those chime textures throughout the song that just give that high-end sparkle. Using texture like this is great to give that subtle ear candy, and I'll show you this amazing technique in the next beat. For now, let's move on to the drums of the beat. Just like in Tony Soprano, the drums are split into 2 different patterns. First, with those simple flowing drums that has a Timbaland-inspired flavor towards the end. Then the second beat is more choppy to complement them strings. And this moves me on to the next beat, Peter Pan.
I go everywhere and look over you. Spend my night in the air to be close to you.
This beat has a more like a slow, calming vibe to it, but it still sticks to that same simple structure to the first beat, but this time only using a 4-bar loop, which you may also think it might sound too much of the same, but the use of more sounds to create those ear candy phrases. Brent's producers do this to perfection to give the sample some soulful depth. Let's look exactly how it's done. Again, starting with a piano and an organ, using only 2 chords. This time it's a 1-2 chord progression. Next, layered a more bouncy bass. Also adding drums to be very subtle. If you listen closely with the bass, you can hear how it plays perfect off it. Here is the most special part of the Peter Pan beat, which is the vocals. If you can record in your own vocals, this will level up your samples massively. First, I started with this choir, which can be done by yourself by stacking the notes and singing in an R. But for this sample, I used a VST. Then I found a vocal harmony that stacked on perfectly. Then I found this main sample, which is stretched to be double the speed and pitched up. Then I found the last vocal, which I stretched and played for a pitch down version, and the vocals sound like this. To add that R&B sexy vibe, a Rhodes is perfect, but this time using those accent notes. Just like that chime texture, I noticed a special trick used in Peter Pan, which is from exporting the Rhodes, then just playing in one single high note and recording it into Edison. This gives it a faster and higher texture, then pitching it back up and stretching it and adding a halftime. And lastly, the most beautiful part of Brent's production is the guitar layering, which consists of a chord, arp, and a note slide, which has some kind of vibrato effect on it. Then if we pitch it down by -2, it sounds all like this.